All right. I am making my video as promised about PCOS today. First thing I'm going to talk about is I'm going to talk about what it stands for. So, PCOS stands for Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome. It means that you have cysts on your ovaries, and it causes a fuck ton of lovely symptoms that you'll have to deal with. Um, I am going to do a disclaimer right here at the beginning. I am not a medical professional. I am just have this condition and I've dealt with it. And so I'm going to just talk about the symptoms that I had and how I dealt with it. Because that's all I can speak to honestly, and I don't want to say anything incorrect. Um, so the name polycystic ovarian syndrome. Now on to the symptoms. So the first symptom that I had to deal with was an excessive amount of acne on my chin, jawline, and neck and chest. I have dealt with that. The first thing that after I got diagnosed, the doctor encouraged diet and exercise and a low carb diet, not a keto diet, mind you, just like under 200 carbs. So just it, PCOS or insulin resistance in general causes you to crave, as I understand it, causes you to crave high processed foods, high carbohydrate, simple sugar foods. So I try to stay away from too much of those, and that seems to help. So diet and exercise is going to help with your hormones and help combat the symptoms. But if you have a really persistent case, it might not be enough. So the first thing that I got was medication for my insulin resistance. So I was diabetic when I first started, so I got metformin, which helps with the insulin resistance, and it helped me while I was losing weight. And I'm on it again, even though I'm not diabetic. All of 2023, I struggled with weight loss, and I went back to my doctor saying, hey, I'm still fighting these symptoms. I'm doing all these things that are right. I've already lost 100 pounds, but I'm really struggling, and it's getting really frustrating. I'm struggling the same way I struggled my whole life. And so they prescribed me again a lower dose than what I needed when I was diabetic. And all of a sudden, I'm losing weight again. I've lost since April, went from 244 down to 218. So do the math on that. I haven't 20 something pounds. Okay, so for the acne, diet and exercise to help with the hormones and medication, and then also a very good skincare routine. So I worked with, during 2020, I got obsessively into Hyram. I don't know if you guys have heard skincare for Hyram, but I got really into it. I got this kind of elaborate skincare routine, and then now it's a little bit simpler because complicated things are hard to me to do when I have ADHD. So now it's much simpler because it's just easier for my brain, and it seems to do a good job at keeping up. So I'm going to go over it real quick. So I start with actually, I'm not going to show every single product, but I have two different types of face washes. I use a oil-based makeup remover for days that I wear makeup. So like usually a balm. Um, I will post in the description links to the different products that I use if you guys want to try them, but I'm not affiliated or anything like that. These are the ones that work for me, but they're by all means not the only options out there. There's many options. They're just the ones that I found that I like and that are in my price range too. So I use a makeup remover. I don't just wash my face with a water-based face wash, and then I use a face wash that is specifically for oily skin. Um, which helps. And then I use a moisturizer every day. Any sort of gel-based moisturizer works. This one's Verse. This is what I really like. I use a thicker one at night, which is just CeraVe moisturizer. So when you have oily skin, you want to use a lighter moisturizer so you're not as oily. But if you don't use a moisturizer, it tends to overproduce the oil. So your skin is like overly dry, as I understand it. So actually making sure I'm using moisturizer every day has really helped with my oil levels. The other thing I have issues with, and I'm not 100% positive if this is PCOS related, but I had a lot of redness in my face. And so I use this green tea toner from It's a Treat. It's Korean, but I really like it. It helps reduce the sebum on my face. And I've been using it for years, pretty much since 2020, and I really like it. This one also has green tea in it. The Versed Dew Point Gel Cream. So I use this. I have 3 different routines that I use because you have to be careful when you have actives on your face. You don't want to mix them. So the first day I will use my salicylic acid toner, which helps with acne. I only use this every 3 days. So, because if you use it too much, it can cause irritation. Also, it makes your skin a little bit sensitive to the sun. Salicylic acid doesn't work for everybody, but it works for me. So I make sure to use this every third day. Then I got a prescription for adapalene, which is a retinol, a retinoid that helps with acne specifically. It's from my dermatologist. You can pick this up over the counter in a slightly lower dosage. It's called Differential. I actually have that too. Um, but the higher percentage adapalene works. So it works kind of like if you use retinol, but you struggle with acne, if you switch to this, it might help because it does some of the same stuff that retinol does, but it also fights acne. So those are like the key big actives that I use. I also use this Tiger Balm cream. It's like really, really cool. This is like basically like a BB cream. It's sunscreen. It's green, but it helps cancel out the redness. I use this like makeup. I use it as a sunscreen and like makeup because as my skin cleared up, I just wear less makeup because it's less work. But anyway, I really like this. So I will try to link this in the video as well. So that's pretty much with my acne. I try to keep up with my skincare routine. I wash my face every day. I never sleep in my makeup. I try not to touch my face. All those things. Oh, also niacinamide, which I don't use when I use any of the other actives. So the adapalene I don't use at the same time as the salicylic acid, and this niacinamide ceramide helps with oil production and redness, which is what I struggle with. So I basically have three routines. One day where I use salicylic acid, one day where I use adapalene, and one day where I use the niacinamide. And I use the toner and the moisturizer every day. And wash my face. That's basically it. And then I make sure to wear sunscreen every day. Always, always, always wear sunscreen. That's not so much PCOS as much as, not getting cancer. Okay, this video is getting longer. All right, so my hair. I'm going to try hair loss. So one of the symptoms of PCOS is an excessive loss of hair, which is why I have been running shorter hairstyles lately for the last several years, because I've been having really bad hair loss. It's actually quite a bit better. I don't know if you can tell, if you can see some of these like baby hairs in the shadow. I actually am about 4 months into a hair program. If you've heard of Hair Club for Men, they're now just called the Hair Club because not just men deal with hair loss, especially women with PCOS. You actually have male pattern baldness typically, where you're going to get so normal, as I understand it, again, not a medical professional, but female pattern baldness is where your part slowly gets wider and more visible. Male pattern baldness is you get like a big old bald spot. You'll get the widow's peaks and you'll get a big old bald spot right here. It's specifically because of the high testosterone from PCOS. And it was like demoralizing because I loved it. I had like curly hair and I loved it. I usually had it shoulder length, but it was very cute and I miss it. So you can see a little bit of the wispies, but because my volume went down so much, I just couldn't maintain a longer hairstyle. So what I do for that is I got onto a program with Hair Club, and so one of the things I do, I have to wash my hair every day. I use minoxidil, which is Rogaine. I use this twice a day, in the morning and at night. Then I use this nifty thing. Hold on. It's vibrating and moving, and I use that on my head to help get blood flow on the scalp. I use this every morning. And then every night, I use this nifty hat that also came with the package, which is a LED hat that helps stimulate hair growth. This is a $3,000 hat. So I definitely had to get financing for the package, for the whole package. But I'll go ahead and leave this on because I haven't done it today. And then I also have a scalp serum that I use in the shower. It's like a spray that you let set right here. It's basically it's an enzyme cleanser. It helps remove debris and build up from the scalp. So this is supposed to help encourage hair growth. All I know is it's working. I wash my hair every single day. I do this every single day. I do the minoxidil every single day. Oh, and I also take a vitamin. Two vitamins every day. One in the morning, one at night. It's like a multivitamin. It's got biotin, all that stuff. I mean, probably any multivitamin would work. I'm just doing all the things, and it has made a difference, and I'm so excited about that. So another big symptom of the PCOS is facial hair, which you'll notice I used to have a lot of really, really dark hair under my chin, on my mustache area, all around here. But I went to my dermatologist because I was struggling with acne and ingrown hairs here because it was like chubbier, so it's like easier for it to get ingrown here. And she said, honestly, I was like, is there anything I can do about that? Like, she kind of approved of my skincare routine, gave me some suggestions of things to change. And then she was like, actually, really, the only option is laser hair removal. So I looked into that. It is kind of pricey, but it was totally worth it. So I did 10 sessions over, I think, a year of full face, and it almost doesn't grow at all. There's just a little bit of fine stuff that still grows, just because with PCOS, it's very persistent. The hormones are trying to force your hair to grow. So you probably are going to end up needing more than one session, like usually by a package for so many sessions or whatever. You're probably going to need more than one. I'm going to probably get another package eventually, just because I can see that there's still enough hair that grows that I got to use a little buzzer to shave. So, it's life. So, there's that. Let's see. Weight gain, diet and exercise, and especially in the belly. That's very, very common where I'm going to back up. That's where I carry the majority of my weight, is in my stomach. I'm wearing shape right now. So, we've got oily skin, covered that. High testosterone levels. So, androgenized hair loss, where male pattern baldness is linked to testosterone, as I understand it. I might be wrong with that, but so hair loss is something that's going to be caused by the high testosterone. But another thing that's caused by the high testosterone is you have an easier time building muscle, which I do like. That's part of it. I mean, of all of the bad things about PCOS, that's one thing that's super cool, because I love being strong and lifting and all that fun stuff. So, anywho's, we've got hair loss, facial hair, acne, infertility. So that one is something that I am not combating, because my doctor told me basically if I lose weight and my hormones are more in balance. Okay, the cord just came off. This is just going to be a funny moment of the video. This little thing is like the power box where you plug it in to charge it, and there's no place to sit it, so I just kind of like hang it on my neck and it fell. All right, this is going to be an entertaining video. So, and then another big symptom is abnormal periods, which is, so you can have, in my case, I had really, 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 really heavy periods, like incredibly heavy. I had to have a giant pad and the super tampon, both, and changing those multiple times a day. I had big issues with spotting. It was so embarrassing. Very, very smelly. Ugh, I know that sounds gross, but it was very smelly because it was so much blood. Ugh. Sorry, nasty. So what I did to do that is my doctor also recommended for if you're going to get bariatric surgery, they want you to have a more significant birth control than they want you to have more than one type of birth control. And I didn't want to get on the oral ones because I was worried about weight gain, so I got an IUD. And that has been so great. Like, I almost don't have a period at all. So it's nice. Like, I will have it, but it's incredibly light. So, but it's different for everybody. In my case, they were incredibly long, and I would like the period for like 11 days, and it was like horrible for those whole 11 days. Now I could go 2 months without a period, and if I do, I'm like, oh, I have a period. I will link panty liners. That's it. Anyway, so for the periods, I do the IUD and the diet and exercise. Getting your hormones better in balance helps combat it overall. I think I've covered everything. So there is a couple different ways that they diagnose it. They usually, in my case, they diagnosed it. I had so many of the symptoms that they were able to diagnose it just with my blood work, with my high testosterone levels and all of the physical symptoms I was showing. They were able to diagnose it. But there is another way. They can actually do an ultrasound on your ovaries and look at the cysts on your ovaries, and they can diagnose it that way. But I did not need that. I had enough. You're more inclined to have diabetes and hypertension, which I had both of those. I don't anymore, thankfully. Yay, diet and exercise, that actually works. So hopefully that helps. That's kind of been my experience with PCOS. I absolutely think that if some of these symptoms resonate with you, do some research on PCOS, because I definitely didn't give you all of the information. It's not all inclusive. Just the stuff that I dealt with and I'm still dealing with. And how I'm fighting it. But hopefully that's helpful. And yay, it was less than 20 minutes. Anywho, have a great time. Bye.